First, we're going to create a data table that will hold the subject categories and subject areas. We've already built the table, so we're just going to add 2 columns to that table. Now you'll see all the columns that are in the table, even the ones that we have pre-built. Through the drag and drop editor, we'll add some elements as examples on the screen. A key feature is the ability to link an element on the screen to a column in a table. One of the advantages of this is when you drag a save button on the screen, the save button knows what table to save the records in. In the interest of time, here are the rest of the elements that will be added to this screen. You can add your own CSS and styling to these elements as you choose. So we have all the screen elements added to the screen that we need for this portion of the application. This service will pull the data from the data table for inclusion in the light view. So we've got the JavaScript created. Now let's use the Light View wizard to create the JavaScript that's going to display the data view. Light views are configurable through this wizard. First, we're going to add an action column. The action column will be used to hold an icon that we'll use to delete the record later. You can control almost every aspect of a light view. I'm going to add the ID of the record. This will be used when we use the data service to delete the record. I've hidden the ID also, so that will not show in the view. In layout is the name or the ID of the div, the layout area, that you put on the screen earlier. Clicking the Generate button will generate the JavaScript that's needed in order to display the light view. I'll copy and paste that into JavaScript editor. I'll give the JavaScript a function name and finish off the syntax properly. RapidBIZ has many predefined functions. One of them is the screen loaded function. When used, you can put functions or any other thing you want inside the function so that when the screen is loaded, it performs those actions. In our case, we'll load the view. The preview function lets you see the screen just like a user would see it. It's also functional, but does not navigate. Now let's get the action button working fully. You've already seen how to create a data service, but we're going to create another one that will allow us to delete a record in the view, in the table. So we'll do this pretty quickly. This is the action column we configured when we used the LightView wizard to create the LightView code. Now we need to call the data service that will be used to delete the record. So we'll use the data service wizard to create the JavaScript that's necessary in order to call that function. The record ID will be the ID of the record we're going to delete. I'm going to put a placeholder in there for now. I copied the JavaScript and now I'm going to paste it in the JavaScript editor. I pasted it in. Now we'll give it a function name, finish off the syntax, and we'll be ready to use it in the LightView. The on event, or clicking the icon, will perform whatever functions I put in here. setObject is going to place the ID in a variable called CourseDeleteID. Now we'll replace the placeholder with the variable that we just set using getObject. And we'll put in an alert to tell the user that the operation completed successfully. And we'll call the LightView code again to refresh the view after the delete. We can preview the code now and make sure that everything works as it's supposed to. Okay, it's time to finish up our application. We've just got a few more things left to do. We're going to change this save button from just a standard save button to an other, which will allow us to call a JavaScript function when it's clicked. We'll build one more data service that will allow us to check for duplications. Now we'll use the data service wizard to generate the code we need to execute this function. You'll see my replacement variables have been picked up from my query. We'll copy and paste the code into our JavaScript editor now. Now I'll paste in a little extra code for this function. This is going to be our checkDupes function that's called when you hit the save button. If duplicated, it'll warn the user. If not, it'll perform a standard save. We'll get rid of our data service wizard and move on. The values we need to feed our data service are contained in these two text fields. We'll feed those values now to our replacement variables. We're going to place another handy predefined RapidBIZ function in this code. This function automatically runs after an insert has taken place. In this case, if successful, I'm going to reload the view. We have extensive help text available. For the functions we've talked about, it will show you an example frequently, the parameters, and the proper syntax. We'll give our function a name here, and then we'll save our JavaScript and preview our code. Now let's preview our application screen. We'll fill in the fields and click the Save button, and we'll refresh the screen. You can see that the record saved successfully. And there's the record we just inserted. Now let's check and make sure our checkDupes code works properly. And it does.